It's time to turn our focus to the Samsung S26 now that the company's 2025 foldables have arrived. Even though the S26 launch is still a few months away, we're excited to see what Samsung has planned for 2026 and how it plans to advance its flagship products. We still don't know a lot about the S26 lineup because the rumors are still in their early stages. However, there have been some hints about what to anticipate, and they will only grow closer to 2026. According to one significant rumor, Samsung might once again release 3 phones rather than 4, like it did with the S25. But which 3? Although the S26 exact launch date is unknown, we do know that Samsung typically maintains the same release window every year. Lately, Samsung's new flagships usually come around late January or early February, and the Galaxy Unpacked event is held at the beginning of the year. 2 weeks later, there is usually a wider release. The release falls between January CES and MWC at the end of February because to this short window. Put differently, Samsung plans the Unpacked debut event for when it will be the center of attention. Additionally, it is time to allow Samsung to assert that the first phones will arrive at the beginning of the year, even if OnePlus has lately outperformed it by a few weeks, at least in China. For the record, January 22 was the date of the Unpacked 2025 event that gave us the Galaxy S25 debut. On January 17, the 2024 edition took place. Those 2 incidents happened in San Jose, California. We are unable to confirm the Galaxy S26 price at this time because that information usually becomes available closer to the launch event. The Snapdragon 8 Elite 2 will apparently cost the same as the original Elite chipset, which is wonderful news. This increases the likelihood that prices will remain the same and provide Samsung one less component to worry about paying more for. The S25 is now the most expensive of Samsung flagships, with prices starting at $799. The S25 Edge debuted at $1,099, while the Plus model costs $999. With a starting price of $1,299, the S25 Ultra is the priciest phone in the list. There are now 4 S25 versions after the release of the Galaxy S25 Edge in the spring. And that's prior to the S25 FE's release, which some anticipate happening later this year. According to the report, Samsung may reduce the number of S26 models it offers. In particular, it's possible that the S25 Plus was the final model of its sort. As Apple is apparently replacing the iPhone 17 Plus with the iPhone 17 Air when its new phones debut this autumn, Samsung is reportedly replacing the Plus with S26 Edge. Regretfully, the S26 might abandon the S Pen, as the recently announced Z Fold 7 did. In order to provide real magnetic QR2 wireless charging, which the S25 series does not, Samsung may do away with the digitizer layer in the screen, according to leaker Panda Flash Pro. That layer is necessary for the current S Pen to function. Though it would probably be too big to fit within the phone itself, there is some conjecture that Samsung may have a new digitizer-free stylus. According to leaker Crow Row, Samsung may also be doing away with the hole punch camera in the S26 Ultra in favor of an under-display camera. Given that the Z Fold 7 recently lost its under-display camera, we have its reservations, but it might also mean that the Ultra variant will finally get the uninterrupted display we've been longing for. According to a claim from prominent leaker Ice Universe, the Galaxy S26 Ultra will not significantly differ from the Galaxy S25 Ultra in terms of the rest of the S26 design. According to that leaker, we may anticipate the same 6.9-inch display, reduced weight, and some more height and width. The entry-level Galaxy S26 will continue to use the 50 megapixels primary camera for another year, according to the first significant camera rumor we've heard regarding the 2026 Samsung flagships. Nevertheless, a new sensor that is larger than the previous one, in order to collect more light, might be introduced. This could significantly improve image quality under various circumstances. The Galaxy S26 Ultra may see a more significant update, potentially raising the bar for the telephoto lens. A 200 megapixel zooming camera with 5x magnification is promised by certain rumors. According to reports, the Ultra's iconic secondary telephoto lens will be upgraded to 50 megapixels with 3.5x optical magnification. All of that, though, is nothing compared to the rumors of a 324 megapixels primary camera, which may be a bit much. According to additional conjecture, variable aperture, which hasn't been observed on a Galaxy since 2019, might return to the S26 Ultra. Compared to what other phone manufacturers, like as Xiaomi, have recently supplied, the previous solution was far less flexible. Therefore, it will be interesting to see what Samsung can accomplish with it. Given that the Snapdragon 8 Elite chipset powers the S25 series, we predict that Samsung will choose the next generation Snapdragon chip for the S26, which is most likely the Snapdragon 8 Elite 2. How much better will the Elite 2 be, considering how strong the Elite chipset has shown to be? According to a digital chat station rumor, the new chipset would include a 4.6 GHz CPU and 1.2 GHz GPU, which is far more powerful than the current Elite's 4.47 GHz CPU. This doesn't tell us anything, but generally speaking, a chip will be better the faster its clock speed. But there have been rumors that Samsung would use Exynos chipsets again, like it did with the Galaxy Z Flip 7. As seen by a comparison between the Snapdragon 8 Elite-powered Motorola Razr Ultra and the Z Flip 7, Exynos chips regrettably frequently have poorer performance. Although the extent of the shift is unknown, previous Samsung releases have only offered phones with Qualcomm chips in North America, with Exynos chips being used in the rest of the world. The recent increase in the availability of Qualcomm's Snapdragon chips is more of a blip than the prior trend, which was allegedly caused by problems with 3nm Exynos hardware manufacturing and chip shortages. According to leaker Jukanosrev, the Exynos 2600, which is one generation more advanced than the Z Flip 7's 2500, would power the S26. None of the many S26 battery rumors that have surfaced so far appear to be able to agree on what to anticipate from the three phones in the range. According to the first, the phones might use silicon-carbon battery chemistry, which has a far better power density than standard lithium-ion batteries. In essence, that would allow for greater battery capacity without requiring additional room. It might also result in a physical battery that is smaller, making more space for other items. It all relies on how Samsung wants things to function. According to certain estimates, Samsung may boost the battery's capacity to 6,000 to 7,000 milliamps, which would be a remarkable improvement. Regretfully, following rumors indicated that the Ultra model's capacity will not surpass 5,400 milliamps. Even while it is much more credible, the larger battery is not quite the stunning boost from those earlier rumors, even though it is greater than the 5,000 milliamps battery in the S25 Ultra. Since then, we've heard rumors that the battery might not even get an upgrade. According to Ice Universe, the S26 Ultra will feature the same 5,000 milliamps battery as earlier Galaxy Ultra models. Fortunately, Ice Universe also asserts that the charging speed will eventually surpass 45 watt, eventually reaching 60 watt. It's about time Samsung raised the charging rate to a level that can more effectively compete with its Chinese rivals, even though that is currently somewhat of a meme. According to Bloomberg, Samsung and Perplexity are nearing a deal in which Samsung would invest in the latter. Naturally, we anticipate that AI will be a major component of the Galaxy S26 software, which we believe will include One UI 8. It's impossible to predict what further improvements the phones will bring at this early point though. Samsung's flagship devices have a lot of innovative features. In certain ways though, the manufacturer is highly grounded and only hesitantly and slowly innovates. This is true for RAM, for instance, which differs between models. The S22 Ultra stayed at 12 gigs and did not alter. 16 gigs has long been available from other manufacturers. Additionally, it is being believed that Samsung will follow suit next year. Over time, mobile phone characteristics usually get better, giving users more capacity and alternatives. But in recent years, Samsung's Galaxy S series phones have changed completely in terms of RAM. A year later, everything was different, even though the Galaxy S20 Ultra and the S21 Ultra models had 16 gigs of RAM. Additionally, there has been no change between the S22 Ultra and S25 Ultra. It is still only available with 12 gigs of RAM. You probably won't find the last version, even though Samsung upgraded it with 16 gigs of RAM in a few select areas. Data from Macquarie Research suggests that Samsung should eventually advance with the Galaxy S26 Ultra and have 4 gigs or more RAM, which would satisfy users of demanding apps as well as gamers. Additionally, it is stated that the business should ship to all countries, not just a few. It's great to hear that the superstructure will introduce One UI 8 if we increase the RAM to 12 gigs. Samsung is, after all, under considerable pressure to take this action. Applem, which its RAM consistently outperforms. Additionally, Samsung must wildly jump higher to be that hypothetical step above its iPhones, as the next iPhone 17 is rumored to contain 12 gigs of RAM. Although the rumors are gradually giving us an idea of the type of phone we may anticipate, there is still a lot we don't know about the Galaxy S26 lineup at this early stage. Although the possible changes do sound promising thus far, anyone expecting a drastically different range of devices will be let down. We are intrigued by the reported demise of the Plus model, particularly in light of the fact that it has been edging closer to the Ultra model over the previous few years. Thus, the Edge's addition to the primary trio may represent an intriguing behind-the-scenes change. However, we still don't know a lot about the phones at this time, so we'll have to wait and see what leaks and rumors come up in the future. So, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting tech news and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.